Hey everyone, welcome to the Friday the 13th bi-weekly update by Illfonic. My name is Kedhrin Gonzalez. I'm the creative director at Illfonic, and I'm joined today here with Bryce, the producer on the project. And we're going to be essentially doing this show to walk you through updates we've been doing on Friday the 13th. It's going to be every 2 weeks we're going to be doing this, so essentially what we're going to do is just give you some updates on, hey, this is what we've been doing, this is really cool, check this out, as well as inviting people that are on the dev team to come and chat and give their perspective on everything, what their job is, and how they're, doing stuff and how they're holding up, making one of those most brutal games ever made. This is good. This is the first one, so I just want to go ahead and kind of just do a little background of what we've been doing so far. So it's not really a 2-week update. It kind of goes back quite a distance, and there's been a lot of stuff done. But at the same time, it's important to note a few things we've been doing. It's been pretty busy. So it's, the team's been cranking away. I think people have mentioned before on other stuff, we've been doing the prototype. You guys saw some prototype footage that was released. Right now we're focusing on moving all that prototype stuff into a full production sense, just like everything being made correctly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because everything was hacked together. Like if you guys saw that first trailer video we released with the Jason reveal and it was all in the woods, we essentially were like, okay, we made this beauty scene. Now we need to play in this for play testing, so we just stretched it out as far as we could go. The level was pretty ugly in the prototype. I mean, you're talking about bad lighting, pretty bald maps.
Yeah.
Bald maps. It's just empty terrain. Nothing's decorated. Like you guys probably saw on that prototype video. It was horrendous.
Yeah, a lot of gray boxes and temp animations.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't even show in that video the walking through the buildings that were nothing but a tiling wood texture and just super terrible. But it was really important for us to take our time in that stage in the prototype phase to really dial in what the game is, how fun is it, and are the concepts we're doing, do they make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And there's some things that we thought when we first started the project with Gun on doing summer camp, there are certain things that we were like, oh, that's not going to work, we're going to have to radically change some of that. And that's the important thing about prototyping. You want to spend that time to make sure everything's going to work in the long run. So that's actually coming to a close this month because the development team is focusing on making everything right. Because in the prototype, we just shoestring things together. We're just like, oh, we got to get this working as fast as possible just to test the concept, get over it, and then, cool, it works. But if you keep building off of that, you don't restart. By the end, when we're going to certification or trying to get it on Steam, you're going to be spending more time trying to deal with cleaning up the mess or dealing with that shoestring nightmare.
Yeah.
So
just putting out fires.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The whole time you're just fixing stuff rather than making cool shit. So that's our. So that's kind of where the prototype is. We're shifting off that. So in the full production build, which is going on right now, you guys have been seeing assets. They've been, Gun's been showing you guys assets as they come online. A bunch of new stuff from other partners, making stuff being made in house. Just really cool props that are from the movies or from just well-known things. We'll go in depth later in this series and talk about how these guys are actually, they have the movies up and they're like, we're gonna make that tree stump or that exactly like that tin can that's on the shelf in a building. So these guys are pretty ridiculous about authenticity when it comes to the movies. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like right now it's pretty much one of those states where everything's kind of just, we're getting. If you look at the production build now, it looks like we're almost taking a step backwards because everything is less pretty, but it's going forwards at the same time. If you think about it more from the engineering standpoint, where they're making things properly.
Exactly. Yeah. No, in the prototype, behind the scenes, everything's on fire.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
That's the fun of it. Yeah.
So it's pretty cool, and you guys saw some of the mocap stuff that we went out to LA, recorded with Kane and the stunt actors, and that was pretty cool. So that stuff's just now coming in. We're just not getting those things online. But there's lots of elements before we can be like, hey, we're going to show you one of these awesome kills. We're just now getting into this mocap data. We're going to have to now turn on VFX. Someone's got to go in there. Someone's got to light the scene. Someone's got to do all the pretty animations. The engineers, though, we got that functionality now. If you got a counselor by the throat, and you can walk around. You can be like, you're gonna die, like right here, like these contextual spots. So the back end's almost completely there.
Yes.
Now it's all like the pretty fluffy stuff on the top of it. That's like that makes it shine and really cool, you know. So that's
getting all the blood and gore and everything in there.
Yeah, that's what you want to see.
Exactly.
You're a bunch of sick assholes. But anyways, so yeah, so that's pretty much what's been going on. You know, we're ramping up the team, and you know, certain things are coming online. I think you know, Gun's been showing some of our progress lately, but we really wanted to just start this series to kind of get you up to where we are, how we're going forward, and everything like that. So next part of this show is essentially, I brought Bryce on, of course, because the biggest thing with Bryce is, since he's a producer, he's my right-hand man on the project, and he's going to be handling things, especially if I'm out of town for some reason or something like that. He'll be hosting the show. But the next show, I'll bring in somebody else, not sure yet, maybe an engineer, an artist, designer, other people on the project, most people. But essentially what I want to do is I want to show your perspective, what you do, so people can get used to you, because they're going to deal with me talking a bunch. But you know, I think it's cool to always be like, hey, who are the other people? Who, you know, like, what does this project mean to you? You know, so
yeah, exactly.
If you can, just please explain your position. That'd be awesome, man.
Sure. Yeah. So what I do here, primarily, I'm looking at the most exciting parts of game development, which are scheduling and milestones, and but really the back end, the production end of things, just making sure all the departments are on track with what they're doing, making sure everyone's communicating, working with our partners over at Gun. Sending out updates and making sure everything's on track with how they're tracking. So yeah, that's primarily also in the prototype. I've been doing a lot of production work on that side as well. Just making sure everything is, again, just going how it needs to, getting features implemented, working with that team. So yeah, maybe not the flashiest job in those updates, but necessary to get the production, to get the game done and out the door.
Absolutely. I think a lot of times people don't understand how important that layer of management is when you're going between departments, if people are bickering, if things are confusing, if someone's doing something that they think somebody over here has done, and someone's got to essentially be the person that ties it all together, and you know,
actually get the game shipped.
And maintains your don't go completely crazy and stuff like that in the whole process, because it's stressful.
Exactly. Yeah. No, and it's definitely a balance, because we want to make the most awesome game possible. And just have to have somebody come in and put the realities of actually getting it out the door at some point, and not just endlessly working on this cool stuff, which is what everyone wants to do.
Yeah, you got to push it forward, man. That's somebody's got to do it. I mean, I know a lot of people in here, me especially, if I could just keep working on this forever, make sure it's absolutely insanely perfect.
Oh yeah,
that'd be cool. But that's not the reality. I mean,
exactly.
I think even for the fans' perspective, they want to play it. So they don't care about me wanting to be creative on it all day long. They want to play it. So, but that's cool, man. So Bryce will be here a lot more. He's going to be, there's definitely going to be times, especially whenever Expo season comes up, I'll be out of town a bunch. So you're definitely
that's coming up.
Oh yeah,
spring,
it's like, it's time for me
to in a couple weeks and
destroy my body.
Yeah,
try to sell myself out there to the industry, the man. All right. So another part of this show, what we want to do is answer some questions from the community, which Ben went ahead and asked you guys on the forum some questions, and so we have some of those. And I think you haven't even had a chance to look at these. So I'm just going to read. I haven't even read them all yet either, so we're just going to read them.
Go off the top?
And see
it's
if
going to work, right?
Yeah. What could possibly go wrong here? All right. Okay, so this is the first question. Will the lake be accessible, like swimming, boats, ambush, etc.? Yes. So here's the thing, right? Crystal Lake's huge. It's not a pond. Like, a lot of people think it's a pond. It's a massive lake. So the levels are actually structured on different chunks of the lake, right? Like, so you got So you can't go necessarily. Some places you can go from shore to shore because it might be kind of like a small delta or like a little like delta, but like a river or something like that. You know, like an area where you can like a little dip in so you can the level incorporates it, but you can't swim across the entire massive Goliath-sized lake.
Right.
You know, because that was one of the things in the prototype we were originally playing with was trying to control the size of the map because it was just so big in the beginning that it was insane trying to get across the map. So we had to really try to much rather have a tighter, contained, rewarding experience than endlessly walking experience. You know.
Yeah, or endlessly swimming in that case. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that would happen in the prototype. You had to see somebody. Hey, we're all talking on the microphone. Where you at? I'm swimming. All right, 5 minutes later, where you at? I'm still swimming. You know, so we gotta try to lasso that in as much as possible, but at the same time, we understand that's a big part of this world. So there's wading. So if you're in like, you know, above your shins to about your waist, chest, you're wading so you can slowly walk. So a lot of creeks and stuff like that. You might have some shin high water that might slow your character down a little bit, but not too much. And that's mostly a concern for the counselors. Like Jason doesn't care about that stuff so much.
No.
Jason
Just walks right through.
Jason doesn't care about anything. So yeah, there is a lot of that. There is the boats. I think we've talked about that as one of the escape mechanisms. But there's some mechanics that are yet to be revealed, which are still things we're going to be churning online. And again, you know, the prototyping, fine-tuning stuff. So we'll get those out there. Okay, so let's see. Will either or both sides be able to jump or climb up things? Okay, so this is a really interesting question because it's always a challenge for us because this is a very big sandbox multiplayer world, right? So when you have that kind of world, and it's a world of cat and mouse, it's a world of playing around, trying to hide and seek, you know, we need to contain gameplay as much as possible. It's really important so people aren't having this completely chaotic experience, and you kind of can get a good, because it's big woods, dense trees, dense rocks. Then when you're inside cabins, very densely populated. So it's really important for us to always kind of control players a bit. So most of the times, like almost everything you can't like free jump, and we don't have really any like jumping over fences. You can jump through windows.
Yes.
So that's a big thing, right? Because if you're inside a bedroom and Jason all of a sudden comes in, you want to get the hell out of there. So it's like the window, okay? You know, so there is that, but other than that, it's pretty contained, and that's just so we can make sure the gameplay experience is consistent across the board.
Right.
So Jason is the same thing, you know. I would say the only thing is though, if he's underwater and you're above him, he doesn't jump. We don't show Jason like jump, but he is able to. You don't think that because he's below you, he can't get you.
Exactly.
We do have a system in place that, you know, that's being turned on. So
definitely, yeah, drag you down to the bottom with him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're gonna die.
Yeah.
I love saying that. It's like I can legally say you're gonna die. It's awesome.
It's a big selling point of this game.
Yeah. Right. All right. So this one is a. Let's see. Will there be attics and basements in the cabins? Most of the cabins are pretty much one level because you know they're not houses, right? So we do have hero houses that they vary based on, you know, what is necessary. Some might have a basement, some might have an attic. It all depends on what that requirement is. But the cabins are generally, I mean, you think of cabins and campsites, they're like thrown on cinder blocks, and like just, you know.
My cabins in summer camp never had a basement in them.
Yeah, they're like, it's shelter from the elements. It's not. It's not you're staying there living so much. So most of the cabins you experience are like that, and that's also for gameplay, so we can keep the experience of not only just Jason but also the counselors as they're trying to explore this environment. It's not so confusing. It's not, you don't get lost easily. So you can keep everything kind of level. But there is multi-story stuff and.
Sure, yeah. The larger structures definitely have that stuff going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and then this one is, I know Jason can drag someone out of a car, but can Jason kill someone in the car? And if that's the case, can the car still be used to escape? Like, can a counselor move a body out of the driver's seat, or can only Jason move bodies around? Okay, this is a very interesting question. And actually, during our mocap sessions, we were like talking about this constantly. So there's a few things you can do as Jason, right? We do definitely have a contextual grab and pull out of the 4 seats of the car, depending on where you are. Now, the chances of that happening are slim because you can't get into the car unless it's already repaired, right?
Right.
So you can't. The car's not repaired. You're not going to go in there and sit in there because you're essentially sitting down. So there is a chance that if all 3 of you, if you want to fill up all 4 seats, you're waiting for the 4th counselor, so all 3 of you are there. But all of a sudden you see Jason coming around the corner. More than likely, the driver's like, "I'm out of here."
Yeah.
Right. But in the case that that doesn't happen, Jason can come up and kill you, and he can come and drag you out of the car. Now, if the car's moving, Jason, if there's still a slim chance, if somehow Jason's able to get in the way of the car and you're moving, he is able to essentially, we call it just free swinging at the car, and that will essentially he'll like blast through a window or something and kill the person in it. Now, as far as it's usually the side he's on, right? So if he kills it if you look at the car from the top down, it'd be quadrant base. So this one, the driver, passenger, back passenger. So depends on the area he swings. It's just like big hit boxes.
Sure.
So the problem is though, what our main mechanic is with that, what people are saying, what they're asking is, can you pull the driver out? It's like the real answer is no. That's essentially us being like, no, that resource is now, it's done, right? Like so. That's kind of one of the big things is if those situations are both extremely rare, and if they do happen, it's kind of like, well, that's Jason's. I think, in my opinion, that's Jason's reward for doing something so rare, like being able to kill somebody in a car is a huge accomplishment for whoever's playing as Jason. Now, I'm not saying that won't change. We might play it and be like, wow, that's really sucks. Let's let them pull the player out of the seat. I want to take the fucking car. So we'll see. But that's kind of where we're at right now with that.
Yeah, that's the current iteration of it, but that was funny that question came up. We were just playtesting that earlier this week, and experimenting with that stuff. So
absolutely, and it's a constant thing because you got a vehicle. Like what happens when Jason gets hit by the vehicle. There's so many things that we're still picking at, but we got to get a handle on it all.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last questions. Let's do this. This one. What's been the toughest part of development so far, and conversely, what's been the most fun? So for the toughest part for me, let me answer and then you can answer.
Okay, sure.
So for me, honestly, the toughest part has been making sense of this sandbox environment from a gameplay standpoint, and in relation to this hide and seek asymmetrical multiplayer experience, because there are 2 major things, right? One is, okay, you're exploring a vast open area, which means you're going to be exploring and players are going to spread out, they're going to go thin, and then you have this asymmetrical experience where you're trying to make it to where the goal's balance, but it's not balance. It's not competitive gameplay balance. It's still got to be fun. So I would say it's more of a balance of fun rather than competition, scoreboard following, tracking. And so those 2 things from a design theory standpoint they're very conflicting. So it's to me that was like the biggest challenge is working very closely with Gunn and making sure this all makes sense, and Dan Russa as well, like just because there's so many elements involved in how this could terribly go wrong. But that's why we spent so much time in the prototype is let's make sure it's fun. And it's fun as hell. Like, it's great.
Absolutely.
And to me, that's the most fun, is seeing that challenge just, it works. Like, it works. The game works. The game's fun. It's I don't know. I'm excited about it, man.
Definitely. Oh, yeah. It's been really nice to see, especially recently, and even in the prototype with everything that's on fire, reading the documents, the design docs that you guys are writing up, but now actually seeing all those systems come online and actually interact with each other, and the gameplay scenarios that come out of it has been, I mean, just kind of to go on to the most fun thing, that's been really cool to see. Everything actually start to come together and have some really fun gameplay sessions and go like hell yeah, this is all, it's starting to come together already at this early stage. So, yeah. that's been really cool.
What's been the worst part for you? Or
Oh,
toughest?
God.
The toughest part.
The toughest. Yeah, well, the producer is a little bit different than the design standpoint, but
No, it's just beeping at us.
Okay, yeah,
Go on.
that's been the toughest. Yeah, talking into the camera, but yeah, just getting. I think just getting everybody together on the same page initially when I came in here, and getting all the system, all the design docs laid out, getting the approval chains going. Again, just probably the less exciting stuff
Right.
as far as production goes. But now that that's all in place, and just getting to see at this early stage the fruits of that already showing or coming to fruition. Whatever, words are hard. Yeah, seeing that stuff has been very rewarding already.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the stress behind the scenes people don't really understand. It's the producer role,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. So that was 5 questions we took from the community.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, this is going to be a continuous thing, I hope. 2 weeks. It's fun. I love doing this type of stuff. And, look forward to the next one when we're going to bring somebody else on the team. We'll have more updates. Very specifically what has been going on over the next 2 weeks. This one was just like, hey, introduction. Hey, what's been happening so far?
Mm-hmm.
And now on the next 2 weeks, we're going to be like, oh, we actually did this stuff,
Yeah.
Because there's a big backlog there. We'll start going down into specifics, and I'm really excited about this, being able to reach out to the community more. And from Illfonic's perspective, this is really awesome. It's a great opportunity working with Gun. This is a huge IP for us, especially me personally. I'm a huge horror fan. So we're very much looking forward to all this and interacting with you guys even more. So cool. See you guys in 2 weeks.
See ya.